Wake Coaching Podcast. Here we go. We are back talking about blended families, talking about the brutal sides, the beautiful sides. And today we're talking about the extended family sides. No, not extended family, the tradition sides.
Oh, that has everything to do with
that has
extended family.
everything to do with extended family.
It's
It
all
blurred
of it.
together for a moment. Yeah. So we're going to jump in. The last one we finished, we ended talking about the idea of how we cast vision for what we wanted our blended family to look like. And blended families, blending always have to buy into the greater vision, the where we want to go, the who we want to be. And it requires buy-in. It can't be dictated. It has to be collaborative.
Yeah,
And
humans
so
do not like change. We know that.
they don't like change, and little kids don't like to be told what to do.
No. Oh, and teenagers especially don't like to be
And
told
to be
what
honest,
do.
as a 48-year-old man, I don't like to be
Adults
told what to
don't
do
either.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do either.
Yeah, that's pretty much a
It's a
commonality
human, yeah.
throughout. So we don't like to be told what to
No.
do. The kids, in a blending situation, they really don't have a lot of control.
No, they don't.
They're probably feeling like their life is being hijacked to some degree, right?
Yep.
Like there's a lot going on there. And so absolutely, like we need to call them up and call them into the process, make them a part of it. And we need a vision cast. Like think of, we know all of this about business.
Yeah.
We know how to, that we need to set a vision to get people to follow us. We read books about how to influence people, right? How to manage well. Like all of those same things need to be applied within your family, especially at a time like this.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because in a business, one of the ways that we would lead is that we're literally like shrinking our kids, if that makes sense. Like psychologically, like, okay, Myers-Briggs, what are they? Enneagram, what are they? Like we would do that in a business, trying to get the absolute best relationship with our team, help them to be the most effective and efficient team member they can possibly be, helping them to understand who they are. Like that is very normal in the business world, but not in the blending world.
Yes.
Right? We don't take time to truly understand the internal motivations of our children because we're like, you're a kid, shut up and do it. And it's like, no, they're a little human being that has a complex emotional, internal world that if we don't take the time to fully try to understand, like, oh, this is how Noah is motivated.
Yeah.
This is what makes Noah feel unsafe. This is what makes Sally try to take control, or this is what makes Lige seem a little sideways because he feels out of control and he feels like this is the only thing he can control. And so we have to be strategic with that with our children in the blending process.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. We'll go down that another one. That just got deep quick. But what we want to talk about today, and it plays into it, the understanding your kids because of like new traditions.
Yeah. So we're connecting the vision piece because we create a vision for what we want to create, but then there's like some practical application to like that vision. Like, okay, like what are some things we're going to do to create the culture within our family that we really want? And so part of that is addressing like the family traditions. If we have a value for creating this cohesive, new blended family, we need to be carving out time for that blended family to really build and have memories and create new experiences together. It can't all just be kind of what was.
This is what we've always done.
Right?
This is how we've always done it.
Yeah, especially because when you're bringing two blended families together, the way we've always done it is typically kind of pulling the family apart or just causing you to run around like crazy. Like holidays now, you're trying to go to 2 or 3 or more Thanksgivings or Christmases rather than just going to the one you used to go to.
Well, and ultimately what happens is even in that, you're going to like 2 or 3 or 4 different Thanksgivings or Christmases, and you're neglecting the nuclear family that lives in your home.
Exactly.
You're neglecting that. You're like, well, we have to go here. You're meeting all of the expectations of all the extended family. And at the end of the day, you end just absolutely, utterly exhausted by it all. And you're like, I hate the holidays. As opposed to being like, you know what? We're going to create our own traditions.
Yep. Yeah. So there was a lot that we did. And we did it gradually, but we had to really start being very intentional about creating new family traditions. And so the first year that we were married, we kind of just we didn't ruffle too many feathers. We're like, the
Just
kids
kind
have
of go
been
with the
through enough.
flow.
It's been
Yep.
a lot of transition.
Yep.
Like, we got married right before Thanksgiving. And so those first holidays, like, they were just a whirlwind.
It's just like buckle up, get in, and just go.
Yeah. But we just kind of went along with like what we had done, and we tried to fit as much in as possible.
Yeah.
And we saw how that impacted the family, and that it did feel like very disjointed and chaotic, and like we didn't do anything to really like build a cohesive like Christmas memory for our new family.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, and so the next year we tried to change maybe a couple things, but we didn't ruffle feathers as much. But we got more bold. Is that
Yeah.
the right way of saying it?
Yeah.
About changing the traditions as we went on in the blending process. And part of it was we had to be bold because the kids didn't want to change a thing.
No.
They had some of these traditions that they've done since as long
Their
as they
birth.
could remember,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so we just remember 4th of July in particular, where we made a decision to be in a different place than
What
where
had
the kids
been
typically
the
had
norm
been.
for years.
And we almost had a mutiny on our
It
hands.
was yes.
We literally almost had 3 or 4 kids leave. They were planning an escape. Like no joke.
Yep.
Like, and it wasn't funny. It was, we laugh about it now.
Yeah, we laugh about it now, but at the
it-
time it was like
it wasn't funny.
no, not at all.
No.
It was really intense and quite horrible. But it gave a reality check to the idea of like how important holidays were and how important traditions were. And so one of the things that we did rather than like compete against the old ones, we created new ones.
Yes.
And we like rather, because it's one of those things like, I don't know, like which is better, this or that. Let's just create new ones. Like that was wonderful. That was amazing. We'll even go back and do those occasionally. But we wanted to create something unique for us. We wanted to create something so that when our 7 are out of the house, they're not going back to what we had done before, but we're going back to like they wanted to be associated with what we did, the traditions that we created.
So wish we knew this before. So you're
This would've been
welcome.
great. Yes. Take notes.
One of the things that, like in hindsight, we see now that would be really helpful in changing a tradition is never having it feel like family pitted against family.
Competing.
And so, like, if it's always been with this family and we want to change up that routine or that transition, it's actually not overly helpful then to just the next year it's with the other family. Because now it just feels like, well, I don't want to be with those cousins. I want to be with the other cousin, you know? And so I think what's actually really helpful is if you want to break away from a tradition for whatever reason, just do something wildly different that year.
Yep.
Like with neither family, ideally, so that there's no like, why did you take me from one to be with the other sort of feeling? Because we had a lot
Why
of that.
did you pick them over me or
Yep.
them over it? Yeah.
But just go out of town.
Yeah.
Just do something wildly to just break it up that year. Hey, we're traveling for Christmas and we're actually celebrating in Hawaii, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I
We're going to
don't
go
know.
to cruise. We're going to do it. Yeah.
And have everybody know and understand that what we do this year is not necessarily what's going to happen every year, but we are making some adjustments, and that's okay. Like we have kids that are extremely nostalgic.
Yes.
And we've had to help them to understand it's not a bad thing to be nostalgic, but we also can't like hold so tightly to things that we're not open to life being life.
To new things.
Yeah.
It's interesting because some of the kids have been in a space where like they feel like they have to choose, you know, especially my kids. They feel like they have to choose whether it's Tiffany or whether it's you, whether it's Tiffany's family or your family or our family. And they feel like in our constant message to them has been, you don't have to choose. You get it all. You get it all.
Yeah.
And I think it was kind of interesting, even this last Christmas, and this is a great example of being wildly different, is we, rather than being with the family, doing normal traditions, we're like, hey, well, let's go to, you know, Arizona where your parents have a home. We're going to be there the day after Christmas with your parents. Your parents were spending Christmas with your sister in Wisconsin. And then Tiffany's parents, they had a unique Christmas. So we're like, well, why don't you guys travel to Arizona and spend it with us
Mhm.
and your parents? And
Yeah.
so it's like,
So we spent the Christmas with both grandparents from different sides, right? And
yes,
that was beautiful. But that didn't happen overnight or in 1 year. Like
no,
that happened
that's
with us
the fifth
being really
Christmas.
intentional
Yeah,
about really creating like this flexibility within the kids
yeah,
of we can celebrate with family in lots of different ways.
hmm,
And just because it isn't the tradition we followed for the first 10 or 15 years of my life doesn't mean it isn't a beautiful way to celebrate. And so that's kind of what we've had to do is just change things up quite a bit
yeah,
and really teach them about like flexibility in that
yeah,
way. Another huge tip is making them a part of designing the new tradition.
yeah. The process. Yeah,
And that's what we did with the 24 days of Christmas. So before just jumping in and beginning to, change things up or decide what activities we wanted to do, we brought the kids together and we're like, what makes it feel Christmassy to you?
yeah,
What are some of the things that you love to do or, ways you love to celebrate? And it was really fun because they were all
mhm,
like very different.
yeah,
And so we made a whole list of things we wanted to do over
mhm,
the Christmas season
mhm,
together
mhm.
and called it the 24 Days of Christmas.
Yep.
We had lots of fun with it. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Um,
It was like a
but
lot.
like they very much felt like a part of designing
Hmm,
their holiday.
hmm,
And this year, out of any, like there were very few, like, because we've had other Christmases where they're really sad,
yeah, yeah.
um, really missing or feeling left out. And
Mhm.
we had none of that.
Mm-mm. No, it was amazing because it was like there were things that we did that we never would have done.
Hmm.
Someone said, "Hey, let's go ice skating," which seems like duh, go ice skating. But like we went ice skating, and it was one of the funnest family events outings that we've had maybe ever
Yeah.
as a family.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing, and it wasn't even our idea. It was one of the kids' idea, which
Yep.
made it even that much more
They
beautiful.
got to be the heroes,
They got to
the
be the hero in
Christmas
that story.
heroes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I encourage you when you're thinking about blending and traditions, rather than creating traditions that compete with the old ones
We're just taking them away.
or taking them away and saying, we don't do that anymore, create new ones,
Yeah.
create new memories,
Hmm.
create new, uh, just traditions, if
Yep.
you will.
And don't always feel like you have to jump into a new tradition. Have a gap year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
something that's totally different that you may never repeat again.
Mhm.
But just work on creating that kind of flexibility within your family of traditions are great, but sometimes we just,
We shift, we
we just,
flex, we flow.
yeah.
It's awesome. Family traditions. Hey, Wake Coaching Podcast, thank you for joining us today. I know this was a short one, but short, sweet, to the point. I encourage you, if you're blending, just remember, give yourself time, give yourself space. There's going to be beautiful moments. There's going to be brutal moments, but that's just a part of blending. So I encourage you, if this benefited you at all, please like, share, comment, subscribe. And we can't wait to see you back for the next podcast. Have an amazing day.
Thank you.